Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to speak this morning about something most of us have. Of course, our mothers. And the second thing is our mother's kitchen table. At my house, my mother's kitchen table was the pulse and heartbeat of the entire family. We would wake up every morning with kitchen smells, and my mom would already be busy. And I also had an aunt Viola, which helped to raise my mom, who lived with us. And she was also at the kitchen table early in the morning. So when we got up, the love had already been started. I just recently had a neighbor who moved in, and we began a friendship. And we shared coffee and conversation, and I don't remember who, but one of us said, you know, this reminds me of my mom's kitchen table. So now when we get together or we have a problem, even when we're praying about something, this morning even, she came to me and she said, I need to be at our mama's kitchen table. And now that has come for us to know we need to pray. So we prayed this morning. I don't know what her problem was or maybe it was something else. I don't know, but she just needed someone to pray with her. So I prayed for her this morning. That kitchen table was just so diverse. As a kid, I had to dust every crevice. So you sit down there, it was French provincial, it was huge, it was like giant furniture when I was little. But I dust every little corner, and there was a long area where we used to sit on it and play race car. And at that time, that table belonged to my grandmother. And as we grew older, that table became, we didn't have computers and desks, but we had that table. So that was a homework table. So we sat there and did homeworks, and we brainstormed and read books and whatever was needed. My mom was a school teacher, as most of you know, so she could be in the kitchen and answer all the questions and hear it. We were, okay, I don't hear you in there. Are you reading? Okay, what's going on? Where are you? I don't hear Russell. I don't hear him or whoever. And so she could do all the things she needed to do while we were at that same table. As a young mother, I brought my babies to that table. And actually, they did their homework there. There were conversations and family meetings. We brought all our problems, we brought all our joys. And near this table, which is one of the things I remember, we had a piano adjacent in the dining room. So my mom played the piano as well for our church, and one of my favorite aunts, Aunt Adeola Kim, I'll never forget her. And I later found out that she was, what do you call it when you make the alcohol? Rocky, homemade brew, or whatever you call it. That's another story. But anyway, she was one of my favorites. But when things got bad sometimes, and sometimes they got bad, and there were really, really personal problems that came to that table, then all of a sudden my mom would go to the piano and Auntie Addie would get on the other end, and you would hear them going, calling, Savior, Savior, hear my humble cry. Why on earth thou art calling? Do not pass me by. And they would start clapping. It was okay, because we had what we needed. We had one another. We had love. We had encouragement. We had our mamas at that kitchen table that for generations and decades understood and could share, and they passed it on. Psalms tell you, Psalms 22:6, train up a child. And if it was not for that training that I laid at that table, that training that I later learned, you know whose table that was? That was God's table. Because that was God's women sitting there instructing instructing us and training us, even when I didn't want to hear. There was no way for me not to hear because it was being said. It was being ingrained in my head, in my heart, in my mind, who God was, what the purpose of the death of Jesus was, and how much they loved us. And no matter what, there was nothing that could be thrown at us that he could not take care of. That's all I ever do. If you can't do it, God can. If you can't do it, God can. Don't worry about Ellie. Don't worry about it. He loves you just like you are. And whatever he has for you to do, and I heard this long before I came into a church, only you can do it. Somebody else can do what you do, but only you can do it the way you do it. He knows who you are, and he has your assignment for you, a purpose for you. That's what you said. And I never will forget that. So later on, one of the institutions about this table that my mother instilled, and I will say this, and you heard me say it before, I had a mother that was way before her time. She was almost 6 feet, well over 200 pounds, but self-worth was just immeasurable. She walked in heels that was 3, 4, 5 inches tall, much taller than my dad, because my dad wasn't that very tall, but he loved it. He would look at her, and you know, when they danced, she danced like she only weighed 10 pounds, and he would dip her the whole bit. It was just amazing, the grace that she had and how she gave it to us. When I was little, I remember one of the things that I didn't like about myself, that I was very dark. And at that time in Los Angeles, you could ride the bus. If you had so many children, you only had to pay for 1 or 2, and the rest of them could go. My mother and my other siblings looked more like her as a complexion and everything, but my mother never let me go free. She wanted everybody to know. No, I gotta pay for her. She's the third one or the fourth one, whatever. But in other words, you are mine. You may not look like me, because I did not look like my dad, but you are mine. And she gave that to me. That whatever you are, this is exactly how you're supposed to be. So when I had the names that were thrown at me, I was taught to say thank you. I was taught to smile. I was taught to say, you know, if you're worried about me like that, I must be special. And that's exactly what she made me feel special. But not only me, my other sibling, after she passed, and we were talking years and years, and I said, you know, my mama used to wink at me and let me know it's okay. And she go, you know, we have a special relationship, you know what we said, Ellie? And then my sister said, what? She told me that. I thought that was her way. And then my baby said, what? She was winking at me. You know what? And I said, no, my brother, that was my wink. I'm the only boy. She was winking at me. I'm like, she lied to all of us. But then I thought, no, she didn't. I was special. Russ was special. Emma was special. All of us were special. She just didn't let us know that I was only special. You know, I didn't know. They weren't special. I was special too. But we successfully went home and carried that off, that we all thought we were special. And her grandchildren thought the same thing. This same kitchen table, one of the things that she instituted was that when we started having our children, her grandchildren, when they got up a certain age, got to sit on top of the table and stick their hand in the sugar dish and then put it in their mouth. Just number one, to irritate their parents because we knew we wouldn't have it. And number two, she would look at you, she said, but those are my grandchildren. And nobody can tell me what to do with my grandchildren. Now that I'm a grandmother, I totally understand. And those of you that know, I tell my children, grandmother is much better than mother. I wish I just skipped over to the grandmother part. Let the mother alone. Because there's no way I can measure the love. I say her name and I cry. That's how much I love that little girl. I love her daddy too, but I really love her. So this was my mother. And not only for her children and her grandchildren, every friend we had never said Mrs. Lansman. Everybody said Mommy. Everybody. And we've had everybody at that table. And I lived in South Central LA, so there was a lot of things that went on in our community that made me, some of didn't go into other communities. But it was never shocking to my house as long as you act accordingly. Everybody, everybody said mommy, everybody brought their children, everybody they got grown, and everybody said grandma. So, and I find that now, I fuss at mine, but when I see some of the children that my kids grew up with, I don't know if you guys remember Gino, Kevin Whitcliffe, Aaron Johnson, Jenny, Kendra, all of them, they say what? Mama Burks. And their kids now go grandma. And I only have one granddaughter, I only have two sons, but I can't explain to anybody that doesn't know the love of God that those are my babies too. Because just like I love them, their parents love mine. I remember Anna Mathis, I wanted to kill Frank Epstein, and she said no. She said, God is doing the calling. He will take care of it. He will take care of it. And I'll never forget, because I was really like, ooh. I don't want to tell those stories either, but I'm just saying, God puts you where you're supposed to be with who you're supposed to be with. And I believe that. And that was my mom. That was my table. Now, that table get around through, like I said, I was a little girl, my children, and they could tell you stories about their own thing, their own story, my grandchildren, and just maybe about a little short of 10 years ago, that table finally got to rest. It was just no way we could sit another person at that table. But let me tell you what my sister, some of you know Emma, who had the table, she replaced it with another table. Just like that table that everybody, we never went in the living room. We came to the table and we talked, then we had coffee and we had conversations, and the babies that were born after my mother passed sat on that table and had to put their hand in the sugar dish and put it in their mouth and give their parents all a heart attack. So that tradition is still going on. Mavis, Lou, Sly, Lashley will never be forgotten. I am partly, not all of it, I won't give her the blame for some of it, but I am the mother, I was the wife, I am the grandmother because of her. Even when I differ, what she taught me stands out. I can't do anything but love, because that's all she did was love me. In every stage of my life, and there have been stages, she still loved me. Just like who? God loves us. He didn't wait for us to clean up. He didn't wait for us to get better, to not curse, to not steal, to not kill, whatever it was, to say, I love you, come. He didn't do that. He said, come, just as you are. And because my mama prayed for me, another song, my mama prayed for me, fell down on her knees and prayed for me. And I know a lot of times she would be, she would talk about God, Okay. But he had to sit there and turn around. And although I wasn't digesting it fully like I should have, I still heard it. And that's why my counsel to people today, tell them anyway. Tell them anyway. If they don't hear it today, they will hear it. They will hear it. They will hear it. And God willing, tomorrow I will be 63 years old. And that's all I hear is my mother's counsel when those times come upon me. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. So I just want to say that the love that my mom showed me, the compassion, the intelligence, the knowledge, I'm grateful. And I know many of you are. I heard the stories of the two ladies. When you talked about what was important that, with being with Jesus, it wasn't the preparation, it was what he was teaching, what he was about. When Rosa talked about the things her mom taught, that's the same mom I have. God said I'm the same today and I'm going to be the same tomorrow. It's the same thing. The principles are not going to change because the faces do. We've had many, many people sit at our table. And we have some that are deceased. My mom is now deceased. My aunts are now deceased. My sister is now deceased. But those tables, and what it stood for, it was God's table. It was, and I'm saying my mom because that's what I'm saying. But now that I know what I know about a living Jesus, it was God's table. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. And I know you are. So in closing, I'd like to share something that I wrote. If I can see it, hopefully I can see it. I did good, didn't I? I didn't cry too much. I did the darkest. I did good. I did yay. Okay. I can only bow my head to what was said at my mother's table. My hands raised, I give praise to things that were done at my mama's table. The young, the old, priceless, like gold, sitting at my mama's table. Given for a season and for his reason, the knowledge at my mama's table. God bless our days and increase his ways as we continue to sit at our mama's table. I am thankful and grateful to a living God who set my place at my mama's table. Happy Mother's Day. I love you all very, very much. Yeah.